Welcome to Script Doctors. I'm Patrick.
I am Chris, Redbeard Face Man.
And we're here on Script Doctors. We're going to dissect Hollywood movies and tell you basically what happened, what we liked, and how you could do it better.
Exactly. So the first part of this video is going to basically just be like a rough review of the movie. So if you want to watch, just kind of get an idea and get our review of it. We'll tell you when to stop. If you guys want to keep all the spoilers, we won't spoil that at the beginning. We will definitively tell you when we're going to start with spoilers.
And talk you can bail then, or you can stick around and just hear what we thought.
Especially if you don't want to waste your money on this abysmal movie called Independence Day Resurgence. So let's kick it right off with the review, man.
Right off. So I loved Independence Day, the first movie.
ID4.
ID4 was fantastic. Independence Day Resurgence is a cluster.
Yeah.
It is. So there are multiple things that they did wrong on this movie. They open up, they show we've been using their technology for 20 years. We've reverse engineered everything on there. They've turned, they've transformed the entire planet into something that it wasn't. And we've created a moon base and propelled ourselves as a species, but we can't deal with the aliens when they come back in full force.
Yeah, what's so unbelievable about it too is just that. Is for a movie that's purely based on aliens and alien invasion and a sequel to a universe that's already been established, I had the most difficult time just even buying into the movie. Because for a society that we just got destroyed by this previous alien race, why would we decide to reverse engineer the technology? Why wouldn't we advance our own technology to counteract something where they didn't already know what it was? Everything was shot on a green screen. It was so CG heavy. The CG was good for what it was until at the very end of the movie, it really certainly seemed like they were running out of money. But it just the script was probably the worst part of the movie, hands down.
It was. I think that the biggest problem you kind of hinted at was that it showed our society as if we just adapted all of their technology as opposed to taking their technology and making us better. They established in the first 2 minutes of the movie that essentially after the War of '96, no more wars have ever happened. Not human to human, at least.
Yeah, because which makes sense. Like, man, there are bigger things in the universe than us.
It's the whole Dr. Manhattan thing from Watchmen, where it's like something's bigger something bigger can destroy us immediately. So we need to band together.
And reverse engineer their technology and assume that they're not going to come back to use it.
So they tried to create a defense force on the moon, as well as satellites that are essentially the Star Wars satellite system that we have right now, but beefed up with alien technology. Thinking that what we can do in 20 years can actually fight them, when they actually come back full force.
Right. And at that point, I think that's a very good point to stop and jump into the spoiler section. So to summarize the review of the movie, it was awful. This is coming from someone who I'm very objective about everything. Video games, movies, music. I really
find the good.
I find the good in everything. There wasn't a lot in Independence Day Resurgence.
Visuals, and that's about it. So catch this on Netflix or Redbox or whatever you want to do. Or
wait to spend money on it.
Or either wait to spend a little bit of money, or just wait till it comes. Like I said, if it comes on HBO or whatever, watch it then. Save your money unless you want to watch a train wreck.
Sure.
Then you could do that.
It's one of those. It certainly made me laugh, but in a way that I wasn't supposed to.
Exactly.
Right. So at this point,
spoilers
are coming up. You guys can bounce. This is a wouldn't watch in theaters for me. I did, but it was very very crappy.
Yeah. So the one of the biggest problems with this movie is.
Do you want to? No. Now that we're going into spoilers,
so let's just spoil it.
We're going to spoil it. Like, why don't we start? I think it's a much shorter list. Why don't we start with the things that we enjoyed about it?
Let's do that.
The redeeming factors of the movie. What do you think are the short list of the redeeming factors?
The visuals, like I mentioned. The visuals are amazing and they're impressive. But even then, it's all done on a green screen. Right?
Everything was green screen. Yeah.
And it looks sterile.
Yeah.
Like everything that they're interacting with just looks sterile. I liked the aliens. I liked some of their technology. I liked their ship, and to me it was really over the top because it's a 3,000 mile in diameter ship, which is ridiculous.
Like that would just destroy the entire Earth. Like all you have to do is just land, and then the Earth is flattened.
It's done.
So it's funny because as we talk about, and this is the second take we've done for this because we went through a rough draft.
Yeah.
And but what's funny is what I noticed the first time and what we're doing now is that everything that we did enjoy about it, the redeeming factors.
Yeah.
There is a bigger flip side to the coin. Like
yes.
you have a coin that one side's like a small part of the side is very shiny, and you flip it over and the coin is twice as bad for all the things that were crappy about
That's
it.
exactly
Because
right.
the things that I liked about it, like Brent Spinner came back and he was great. But there's no reason he should have come back. He was dead at the end of the first one. And they literally just wrote him back in a very, as you said earlier.
It's a soap opera critique. So the soap opera technique, the Brent Spiner's like, he's dead. Nope, he was in a coma the whole time.
A coma the whole time.
20-year coma.
And then you have the president who, in the first one was like the strongest character that carried our world through this. And he's like, he's more dynamic in this one, but he's just destroyed because he's been ravaged by the alien mind since then.
I didn't mind that aspect of the film, of the whole like psychic bond kind of thing, except that it should have been more developed and a bigger issue, and it wasn't, because there were so many things that they were like, oh, this is a really cool plot device. And they didn't really acknowledge it much. So again, everything that we liked about the movie, there's a flip side to it. The CG was great. At the very end of the movie, there was this really great scene where there's like the queen alien, which again, they established in the first movie didn't exist. No.
Because in the first movie, they discovered what the mothership was, and they destroyed it, and that's what took them all out. But now, apparently, that was not the mother, that was a scout mothership. So they basically took everything that was established from the first movie and just basically wrote into a script. Well, that was wrong. Well, we didn't know enough.
They tried to do, that's exactly what they did. They tried to do it as saying, maybe they did have a queen on there, and we never saw her.
Sure.
Okay. You never saw her in all your reverse engineering of everything.
It's a lazy plot point. It's a lazy way to script it. And again, I mean, apparently Roland Emmerich, who also directed the first one, directed this movie, and I like most of his movies. He's got a lot of great flicks.
In the over the top popcorn flick.
Love it. Yeah. But the fact is, they brought in like apparently these really young writers that haven't really written much of anything.
Sure.
And again, I'm not trying to tear down anybody, to try to be successful. Like these guys have clearly, they wrote a blockbuster movie. I haven't done that.
Yeah.
So nothing against them, but like it was so bad. I feel that in a lot of ways it was very akin to the Star Wars prequels, where visually, and it's exciting to see a new Star Wars movie. It was exciting to see a new Independence Day movie, but if the script is so bad, you can't get over that.
Exactly.
Then there's no point, and that's number one.
Yeah.
The number one problem is that the script was awful. Hence the name of
Script Doctors,
which is so unique and so perfect that this is the first movie we decided to review.
Because we're gonna fix it with the script. One other thing that I wanted to point out with that in spoiling everything, it's important to talk about everything. We have the moon base. So on the moon base, an alien ship comes through a wormhole. Portal thing that it uses obviously to travel.
Sure.
So it comes in. They have a maybe 20-second scene of should we shoot it? I think we should shoot it. Like one person says don't, and then they shoot it.
And then they shoot it. And like that's the conflict.
And the president and a few others are like, that's not them. That's not the aliens that we were previously accustomed to, or previously invaded by. And then they realize, oh no, it's not, and that thing has inside of it an AI, which is a being that is transcended from a corporeal being to be digital, who is trying to teach us how to kill those aliens, because all they do is drill through the planet core and take the planet core for energy.
Energy, yeah.
Sure. So
why not? That wasn't why they were there for the first movie, but again, just write it in differently.
Write it in. They never did. Yeah, they didn't do any of this in the first movie. So, now, this is how we're gonna fix the movie, right?
Sure.
Now that we spoiled the movie.
So let me preface with this is I think going forward, and I'm gonna be on more episodes. You guys are gonna see this bearded face, but Patrick is much better at this because I'm able to kind of dissect the movie and be like, man, this is not good, but this guy's got some ideas. So lay it on us.
This is my thing. So, you start the movie. You start it. The first Independence Day movie the first shot is the moon being eclipsed
by the ship.
By the ship. We're going to do something similar. You start the movie, you see the moon. You don't see the moon base yet. You see where the U.S. originally landed and the flag that was there and some of the stuff that we left there. And as you pan
even further across the moon,
you see coming up across the horizon the moon base that we built. You have the Liam Hemsworth character that in this movie was one of the people we didn't really care about because they didn't give us a reason to care about. You introduce the movie with him and his younger co-pilot, and they're doing the maintenance stuff on the moon.
You establish them already as new characters.
Right then.
Right there, they're on screen. You don't need to throw up some text, which they did a lot.
No text.
In the movie.
We're going to do this through dialogue. Liam Hemsworth's character is, in his late 20s, so he was a young kid when everything happened. His dad died when the original attack happened.
As many dads probably did. Rest in peace, 1996 dads.
1996 dads. So his co-pilot cohort is, he's like 21, 22. He's too young to remember when it happened. So you establish that...
Which is crazy to me.
He is the millennial.
God, right? 1996.
he's the millennial, right? So he was born in like 95 or maybe 96, right? So he's fresh out of the academy.
Sure.
And he
hasn't known war.
Yeah, he hasn't known war.
He's just experienced this new technology.
Exactly. So he's really good at the technology, but he doesn't understand the conflict. He's not seen these ships because in most of the areas the ships have been dismantled. So he's seen a little bit of the ships, but he hasn't He's not seen the aliens. Mm-hmm. Only a few countries have seen that. We've mentioned that. I can't remember which country it was that was in the actual movie. There's the African country that they've had a ground war with them the whole time, right?
Right.
So that's only happened in one area. In my version, most of the areas they've dismantled the ships, so you don't see the ships everywhere.
Because they've torn them apart to use them for technology.
Exactly. They've reverse engineered it, but to better our technology. So we have propelled our technology. And then, as you're seeing them go through, you see the wormhole open, just like it did in the movie. The wormhole opens, and the craft comes through. The sphere comes through, and the young kid's like, "Is that them? Is that them?" Oh, because he's never seen one of these things.
So he's kind of excited for combat.
And Liam Hemsworth's like, "No, that's something else." And everyone's freaking out. This thing comes in, and it just sits there. Right, it's like the monolith in 2001, or the ships in Independence Day, the first Independence Day. We're going to mirror the exact same thing. That ship just sits there, and they're like, "What is it?" It's just sitting there, and they try to contact it, and they can't contact it. Jeff Goldblum's character's trying to contact it; it's not responding. So that's probably the first 25-30 minutes of the film.
Right, that you expand out to set it up. Now, this is something that's like a great concept. Now, it's also something that they're doing a lot in successful sequels recently, where they kind of mirror what happened in the original one. Look at Jurassic World, for example. Did a very similar thing. It's a very different, like the park is advanced, but they kind of establish like, okay, things are going the way they should until they don't.
Sure.
And you set up Independence Day the same way in our script doctor's version of the movie. Again, I want to reiterate, none of this happened in the movie.
None of it happened.
What Patrick thinks should have been expanded to set it up was not. It was literally like a 2-minute scene. And then it's over, and there's like, okay, well, that's...
My version, that's the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you have everyone on Earth scrambling, just like they did in the first one. They're all scrambling, going, "Who is this? What are they? What are they?" They're not... And
the unknown is where the panic is, because as a society, we've reverse engineered this other alien technology. Now this is a new threat that we have no idea.
And it's new. Because we've reverse engineered it, we look at that and we go, that's not them. We all know that. Anybody who's over the age of 25 or 30 knows what their technology... knows what their ships look like, knows what their habits are. The people who are younger than that, like this kid, thinks that it's them, but he's not sure.
But he's not sure. And all in the background, I would like to add, is you have the world leaders, the president, the presidents of other countries, kings and queens of other countries, always communicating like, what do we do? With everyone has a different idea, but we've agreed as a society, as a world, that we come to one conclusion and we move forward with that. And that is where the tension is. And it's not knowing what to do, but instead in the movie, they end up like just making up their mind within a minute.
Exactly. So in this, you actually build that tension up. And then you have one hothead, and it could be the Liam Hemsworth character, because he's really bland in the other version, right? So his dad has died. So he gets irritated, he's impatient, and he knows it's not them, but he's like, I'm not letting this happen again. I'm not letting another invasion happen again. And he shoots them right then, and everyone's freaking out because he does it for that reason, because he knows it's not them, but at the same time,
he's not going to take the risk of another invasion.
It can happen again. So then you have Jeff Goldblum's character come up to the moon, which happened in the original. But Jeff Goldblum's character comes up to the moon. They piece apart what's left of that ship, and they see these aliens that are in there, because in this version they're actual corporeal beings. They see them. They're completely different. All the writing is different. All the technology is different, and they find out that what they're doing is they're bringing a super weapon to us to help us.
Yeah.
And we screwed it up.
We screwed the pooch.
Right when that happens, that's when you see, very similar to the first one, you see the ship coming in. And then basically the exact same scene that we had before. The exact same scene that we had before where exact same scene where they're saying, okay, this ship's coming in, how do we not see it? It comes in, it's huge, it's destroying everything, and Jeff Goldblum's character goes to Area 51 because he's like, okay, we know someone who helped us before, and it's not Brent Spiner's character, it's somebody else.
Because Brent Spiner died in the first one.
Dead.
It's great to bring back the characters, because I mean, what I feel that they did with the actual movie, because the movie you're telling us is the movie I want to see.
Yeah.
It's not the movie that was made. Because I feel like because they couldn't get Will Smith back, and the reason being is because it just conflicted with him doing Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And in a weird twist, like, not having seen Suicide Squad or the new Independence Day,
sure,
I personally would have been like, man, that makes logical sense. Do Independence Day. Yeah, why not do that one? But it was the right choice, because even with Will Smith in the movie, he couldn't have redeemed it.
It would have ruined the entire.
It would have, but had a better script, like that could have been good, because there's no real reason for him to have died, whereas Brent Spiner was dead.
Yes.
But they just wrote him back into existence, which didn't make any sense. Introduced new characters. It would have been okay if they would have just kept Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Maybe just Vivica A. Fox as well, and her son.
That was the other problem with it, was so her son's there, and I'm fine with her son being there, but
he was a big character in the first one.
Yeah.
He was in the movie the whole time.
He was. So what you do in this version, though, is in the real version of the movie, they cut to Vivica Fox's character, and she's a doctor, and she's helping a woman give birth, and you're like,
no longer an exotic dancer, now she's a doctor.
So the problem is that you didn't contextualize that or some of the other characters that you see. You're introduced to a group of kids that are driving cross country, and you don't know why to care about them. So we're going to fix both of those scenes. First one, we're going to fix the kids. So the kids scene, they're supposed to be interacting with Judd Hirsch's character, with Jeff Goldblum's dad. So Jeff Goldblum's dad is driving his boat, trying to get away from the mothership, which obviously he's, there's no way out of this.
Yeah, there's no way out of it. But and again, let me reiterate what was bad about the new movie is in the original Independence Day, there was all the tension.
Yeah.
We knew that the aliens had positioned themselves to kind of have an invasion. We were just really panicked. Everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. In this one, just there's so much destruction everywhere that in all reality, there's no way that our world would have survived a mothership of that size.
Exactly. And that's why you either have a smaller mothership or you don't have the mothership get to touchdown.
Don't have it touch down on Earth, because if it does, man, it's done.
Have it screw up the gravitational pull of the moon and just destroy the friggin' moon.
And then the waves are going crazy.
And the waves are going crazy
That'd be
because
cool.
of that. That gives you a reason why his character is driving his boat, and he's like, I gotta get out of here.
And then we no longer have the defense on the moon base.
Exactly.
Conflict.
Exactly, because in the way
again, not on the movie. This is our version.
This is our version. So you see him trying to outrun the wave, and then his boat capsizes. Cut to the next scene where you see Jeff Goldblum, whatever, The scene after that's the first time you see the kids. So Judd Hirsch's character wakes up in the back of their car, just like he did in the real version. He wakes up and goes, "Who are you kids? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And then the kids are like, "Oh, we saw you on your boat. We thought we'd help you out." And you have a little bit of fighting between them.
And then boom, you care about the kids.
Now you care about the kids.
Because they helped him out. But in the real movie, they introduce the kids before they introduce their purpose.
Not the way to do it. You need context. The other thing we're going to fix is Vivica Fox's character, right? So what they did in this version was they just cut to her really quick, and they expected that you remembered who she was, you recognized her immediately, and in 20 seconds you realized, oh, she is now a doctor. What you do instead is you have the Liam Hemsworth character and the Will Smith son character, and they're talking, and Liam Hemsworth character says something about his mom being hot. or Will Smith's
Will
former
Smith's wife, Vivica Fox.
Vivica Fox is hot, and he's like, "Hey, that's my mom," and you know he doesn't do that anymore. So immediately you've established, oh, she's moved on. Then right after that, you cut to, literally right after he says that, you cut to her helping the woman in the hospital. Immediately, you just show her pull.
But like, yeah, you don't need dialogue on the screen.
Nope.
You don't need to like have the character explain what she does anymore. You've contextually explained the characters, and it seems like the guys who wrote the script for Independence Day Resurgence like don't understand how to contextually explain a scenario without like outwardly telling the audience. Now, mind you, that could be a problem just with new movie audiences, where like maybe these script writers decided that like you literally have to spell it out for them, or in a big action movie, maybe those plot points weren't as important, but you have to have one to complement the other. Like the CG was made crappier in the movie because the script was so bad, and it didn't follow some of these core ideas that you're kind of laying out.
And the other thing, like we were talking about the sphere. So when you open it up, you find out, oh, this is a super weapon. Jeff Goldblum's character goes over to Area 51 because that's still where all the really good scientists are. Even though we know about aliens now, that's where the core scientists are. And then they say, oh, we actually know about these people because we've been reverse engineering. We know about the language because in the movie they're like, how do you know the language? We've had the stuff for 20 years. We should know the language by now. So everyone they got someone in Area 51 who's a language expert. That could be the Jeff Goldblum's love interest, which reminded me of the Indiana Jones thing, right?
Yeah.
So you have his love interest there, and he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, blah 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 blah. And then she says, no, we know about these guys, and she's the one who says, they've been fighting these aliens, and we thought they were wiped out, but obviously they're not. And then she realizes, oh,
because she's obviously researched through their history. Again, none of these elements are in the movie.
And then she actually, we'll make it. She's the one who has them realize, oh, they were bringing this weapon to us. They realize it's a weapon. They don't know what it is. They bring it to Area 51. She's like, oh, these are these people. They were
after the mistake of just blowing them up. She's discovered after a period of time. But instead, in the original movie, it happens instantaneously, which is
none of the aliens are alive. So we're left to, and she says we thought they were wiped out. So we're left to believe, oh, I think we just killed all of them. Killed the rest of them.
Way to go, humans.
Yeah. So we use that technology. We end up fighting them with that technology because our technology can't do it. We have to use their technology.
Sure.
Because if this is a full force, if what we had before was the scout ship and this is the full-on mothership, we use their technology to just blast that mothership out of the sky and all this other stuff. It's a huge, great moment, kind of like the ending of the first Independence Day. And we also take out these stupid speeches. They tried to redo the speech of the first Independence Day.
Yeah, they were.
Twice.
Yeah, they really tried driving it home again. Like again, that was another huge problem with the movie is they kept trying to race to these big moments. They kept trying to race to the presidential speech. They kept trying to race to the big kind of crescendo epic fight at the end of the first one, to the point where like that was like 45 minutes of the movie, and it should have been.
And I didn't mind the very beginning of the movie was going through like all these galaxies. You could hear the speech, and I didn't mind that. And then you see, oh, they're coming. That's fine. Leave that, then cut to the moon, and then you don't see the aliens for another 45 minutes.
Yeah, but they give you too much.
Yeah,
too
built
quick.
up tension the entire time. That's the biggest problem with the movie. Obviously, dialogue and overall layout.
But the tail end of it. I mean, a lot of the tail end of the movie with kind of going off of the script that you doctored,
my version,
would have kind of figured itself out.
Yeah.
Even the battles and stuff would have figured themselves out. But in the movie, if you go see it in the theaters, you just don't care. And to the point where it even feels like they ran out of money for CG because the one redeeming factor in the great graphics is there's a scene with these young pilots and they're basically essentially doing what Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith did in the first one, where they're hijacking their ship, they're going to deliver the mother load, but it's a bunch of kids and just the set. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the set was so wide,
very wide.
It looked like a living room. And like just a bunch of kids in front of like a green screen. Like it looks like we're recording right now, and they're just like.
In the original, it was that wide though.
Yeah.
Look, the original was that wide, but you could see the actual dashboard and everything that was going on. You could see the actual physical things they were touching. In this, it was just it was just
a front shot.
Yeah.
It was just a front pan shot of all the kids pressing on fake panels. Like they were like, well, if we can't do the panels CG, just don't do the panels at all.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, that lost me too.
Yeah.
To the point where at the end of the movie, I was just hysterically laughing because the script is so bad that the elements and their reasoning for doing things is just like, that's bullshit. Like the whole time I'm just laughing. I'm like, that's not right. Like it's silly.
It is.
It's laughable. I mean, it's just the script was abysmal.
Yeah.
Even if they introduced 2 or 3 of the elements that you've brought up right now, would have made the movie way better.
It would have been better, and real quick to fix that, where you're talking about the 2 of them in there. First of all, you make it actual set inside there, where they're actually pulling levers and stuff like they do in the new Star Wars movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Millennium Falcon is the Millennium Falcon for the original. And you've got levers and buttons and stuff. You have that real stuff, and then you have, if you want to make it the Liam Hemsworth character or whatever, you have so the younger character is really used to the technology, and one that's not used to technology. He's used to our versions of the technology. So when the 2 of them are piloting, he's about to push buttons. He's like, no, don't do that. Like you have a little bit of tension there, a little
back and forth,
a little comedy there, a little back and forth, and that way they're not just like, oh, look at us, we're the best pilots in the world. Like as soon as they get into that ship, they should have trouble piloting it.
Sure.
They're not used to piloting their versions. They're used to piloting our versions of their versions.
Of their versions, right. They shouldn't just be able to jump right into it. Yeah, exactly. We reverse engineered it. We didn't just figure out their technology completely.
Exactly.
So
that's how you fix a movie.
That's how you fix a movie. That's tentatively in a very abridged version how you fix Independence Day Resurgence.
Exactly.
Again, we talked a little bit at the beginning about the review. During the review process, it's bad. The script is just awful. It doesn't matter how great the CG is. I like Ronald Emmerich movies. I'm very objective. I find quality in almost everything. It's really hard to find in this movie. I mean, it was just really, really bad. But you guys be the judge for yourself if you decide to go see it or just wait till it comes out on disc.
Let us know in the comments. Let us know if you think what we were doing would fix the film, make it a better film.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys make sure that you give us a follow. I'm on Twitter at Redbeard Captain.
Yeah, you can find me at TWIOCH.
There you go. In the comments, let us know what you guys think of the review. Let us know what you thought of Independence Day if you've seen it. And better yet, let us know what movies you guys would like to see us script doctor up.
What do you want me to doctor next?
There you go.
Do it. Old and new. I don't mind.
You guys keep watching. Make sure you subscribe and just leave us the feedback. We'd love to hear from you.
Got it. See you later.
Yeah, you're gonna be